a lot of these, you know, even though we had a few cases, but it was not as prevalent as it used to be, you know. And that's why I continue to say that, well, it's a work, it's work in progress.
Okay.
And we hope that one day we'll get there, such that you will not even leave your, you know, the comfort of your home to be able to cast your vote. That is what I expect that we should be, you know, striving towards.
Okay, there's been some back and forth between the police and the military. Just this morning, there is a report that the army is of the opinion that there was some, you know, face-off between the army and the police, you know, in the process of these elections. What do you think could have, and that's, of course, from a report, you know, a release from the, and of course, something like this also, you know, that is on the screen right now. That's why we asked the question the other time about the chain of command in such civil, you know, process. What should it be? And in the event that there is such a breakdown as this, what happens?
Well, it is not uncommon to find face-off between the military and the police, especially at the lower cadre, okay? I mean, it happens.
Why is that?
Well, again, sometimes people get overzealous and they go beyond their briefs.
Is that what happened in River State? Did the military go beyond their briefs?
I am not saying that, Jimba, because I have also read reports where the military are denying that some of the people you see, even though they wore military vests and some military accessories, that they are thugs. I mean, I read that report. Didn't you read the report too? The army denied it, you know. And I'm aware that I think a committee has been set up, and I want to crave the indulgence of the Chief of Army Staff or the military Chief of Defense Staff to ensure that this committee is given proper teeth so that Nigerians can have the benefit of seeing seeing the result of this committee, so that people can be brought to book if they are found really wanted. And the one thing I also want to say is that in any exercise where you have the military, you know, participating, there's always what you call unintended consequences.
What does that mean?
Unintended consequences. Say, for example, look at the United Nations UN missions. You know, even look at Afghanistan, look at Iraq, even the Americans. So you find out that sometimes these soldiers, probably when they are left out there for too long, they tend to have some, you know, some issues.
Because when I asked you if they went beyond their briefs, people were killed at polling units. People were killed in these elections.
Yes.
People were killed such that...
Killed by the military?
We had the pictures of the security architecture committing crimes such as that. So I ask you again, did they go, whoever was sent to be there, did they go beyond their briefs?
Well, I will believe that whoever went to kill unjustifiably must have gone beyond his or her brief.
So what can be done in this situation?
Oh, they have to be brought to book. And
what do you expect will be the look of the Army's investigation when it comes out with that report that we're expecting for the Chief of Army Staff?
Well, I expect that the report will, you know, unearth some of the things that probably we are not privy to here, and explaining what action took place, for example, in Cross River, maybe also in Rivers, and letting the general public know exactly what went wrong. And then, of course, in order to forestall a reoccurrence of such incidents in the future.
A statement from the Army Public Relations Officer, Colonel Sagir, also said that that's Colonel Aminu Ilyasu says that there was a situation where one of its officers was attacked, by the police in River State from, reports that we have. And of course, the police in River State is denying that. This kind of thing is likely to breed some form of distrust between these two very, very strong security operatives. In the build-up to the supplementary election, they still have to work together. Mm-hmm. If this kind of distrust continues, what could be the consequence?
Well, like I said earlier, I mean, it's not uncommon to find some kind of issues between the police and the military. And not even only the police and the military, even some of the paramilitary agencies too, especially at the lower cadre. And it's a work in progress.
Yeah, but what happens, what could be the consequence of such distrust? Because there could be some form of, okay, we're going to get our pound of flesh. What could be the consequence of such a thing in an electoral process?
Well, I'm very confident that, the hierarchy will not allow things to degenerate further, because it will be addressed. Okay? Okay. That's why you have all these committees being set up to investigate. And this one is just an allegation and counter-allegation, okay. And there must be investigation, okay, to go to the bottom of it, to find out who was responsible. Okay. And I tell you what, I mean, you see, there's need for us, to wake up and try to have some trust in our military, And I also encourage the military authority not to relent in their effort to continue to ensure that Nigerians have confidence, in the military, because the military must be seen as the last bastion of any sustainable democracy. You remember what happened in Russia? And I tell you what, in Bangladesh, the Bangladeshi army, they have unparalleled, capability for logistics. So during elections, they rely on them heavily, and of course.
But they also rely on the police.
They rely on the police too, Look at South Africa in 1994, their elections. I mean, the military, had a very good role to play, even though the Electoral Commission never set down any norms for their operation. But, we didn't hear any issues there. Okay. Okay? So we must not also forget the complex nature of our society here. If you smile too much, someone will say it's because you are not from...
But let me pick you up on this.
Yes,
the supplementary elections will proceed. That's according to INEC. But today, we're expecting the process to be concluded in Bauchi State, for instance. The governor has come out to say that he has spoken with the president, and the president says that the lawful way is the way for him to go, but seek redress for INEC going ahead to conclude the process in Bauchi State. But the PDP has released a result, has a press release, has brought out a press release saying that the police has been compromised even before the recount begins today, and that INEC should not be perturbed to go and carry on with the process. Where do you see this coming to fruition, especially if we have to go the way of the kind of security deployment that will be done this time? Because the PDP is also saying that the police has been the police in the state has been compromised. What do you think will be the outcome of this collation process and counting, recounting, and possibly having a governor declared in that state?
Well, again, all these are conspiracy theories.
No, it's a press release. It's not conspiracy. It's a press release.
Who made the press release?
The APC governor, I mean the PDP chairman in the state made that release, which we have this morning.
Yes. The APC is holding its own grounds. The PDP is holding its own grounds. Okay? I mean, you've heard what the governor said the president advised him to do. And I've heard the INEC saying that, look, whether you like it or not, this process will continue. And if you are aggrieved, you know where to go.
So what role does security play in this instance?
The role of the security remains, one, to ensure there's peace, and anybody who tries to create insurrection should be dealt with. Simple.
There is still this back and forth between the INEC and Army. What would you say that the two agencies would do now, from your experience?
INEC and Army?
Yes.
I do not think INEC and Army. I don't think there's a problem between INEC and Army. You know, I mean, like I said earlier, it's very, very clear. The electoral body, they have their setup, okay, which is purely to manage, you know, the electoral processes. And the Army has its own role entirely outside even this. Though the Army is involved in this electoral process to ensure that, you know, people don't attack the polling booths, that the counting collation centers, that
essentially to just maintain the peace.
Essentially to maintain the peace.
Right. Okay.
And then they are in the outer perimeter too, watching out for people, whether from external or internal or anywhere, trying to foment trouble.
That'll be a good place to let it rest, Colonel Yomidari. It's always a pleasure having you, because you will always stay on the side of the truth, which we appreciate so much. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us. Colonel Yomidari talking to us on Sunrise Daily. We'll be back in just a moment. Join us again.